Hello everyone, JSimLady here. Welcome back. Today we're playing Disney Dreamlight Valley and we're kicking off the new old series with a speed build. I am so excited to be bringing this series back to my main channel, and I think I left it at a really good place. You can absolutely go back and watch every video and live stream I have ever made for Disney Dreamlight Valley. I will have the links for those in the description box down below. There are currently two separate playlists, one on my main channel for up until about a year previous to this video, and then that is when I decided to move it to my second channel and focus only on The Sims on this channel, which I deeply regretted right from the very start, to be honest with you. And so the second playlist is on my second channel, and now this will be its own playlist because we're starting fresh. I think I left it in a pretty good spot. We haven't finished Eternity Isle or Storybook Vale, but we're at a place with the both of them where it's going to require a lot of friendship building and friendship quests, and so we have to get through all of that in order to finish those two. I think that since we're so close to Wish Blossom Ranch releasing, it's like next week, I think, from the time this video goes live. It's like a little over a week. And it's been so long since the other two have come out anyways. I figure maybe we'll just play straight through on Wish Blossom Ranch first, and then potentially I'll come back and finish Eternity Isle and Storybook Vale. I think is how I'm gonna end up doing that. Which means we might have to wait on Mulan and Mushu for a while, maybe even Timon and Pumbaa for a while. We will have Lumiere and Cogsworth though, so that'll be interesting, but I haven't figured out all the details yet, to be honest with you. Still working on everything. Still trying to get a feel for how I'm gonna redo everything. I don't want to go back to the old way that I did videos because it just didn't work for me. I also don't want to do the kind of videos that were up on my second channel, which were completely unedited videos, unless I'm doing something like getting a new character in or something like that, like for our Lumiere and Cogsworth quests. Those are going to be very lightly edited, so they'll probably be slightly longer videos, maybe around an hour each or so, give or take. To be honest with you, I shouldn't be making that claim because I can't remember exactly how long they are. I have already started recording them. I've kind of started a system of pre-recording a week or so ahead of time so that I can have plenty of holiday videos and stuff up. I just want to be more organized and prepared this time with these series than I was previously. I think it'll be so much more fun for all of us that way, and I won't be accidentally deleting or not recording bits and pieces of quests and stuff. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot nicer this way. And also, being that I'm bringing Disney Dreamlight Valley back to my main channel, as well as, sorry, my other series, House Flipper 2, and any other games I play. There are some games that I'll only play on live stream, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'll be able to do daily uploads, basically. Except Sundays. I might take Sundays off from uploading, or there will be an ASMR video available on Sundays. There won't always be an ASMR video every Sunday, but there will be a lot of them a lot of Sundays. Those are my ASMR days. Or ambient scene. Some of them are ambient scenes. Most of like my Sims 4 ones are ambient scenes. Most of my House Flipper and Disney Dreamlight Valley ones are ASMR work ones. Like for Disney Dreamlight Valley, it will be me getting mist, getting storybook points, getting Dreamlight, getting whatever the new one in Wish Blossom Ranch is that I cannot remember right off the top of my head, but you know what I mean. Those, and doing star paths. Doing star path questing will be ASMR videos as well. Speaking of star paths and being ASMR videos, I have a question. Would people prefer that I make Dream Snap videos of my weekly Disney Dreamlight Valley Dream Snaps? Or would you rather I do them as ASMR videos? Or should I just share my weekly Dream Snap like on my Patreon or something like that? I don't know. Maybe on the post tab here on my main channel is where I could share those if that's what people wanted. Let me know down in the comments. Now, as luck should have it, there was something I was going to talk about a minute ago and I completely forgot what it was. That's pretty typical for me, but I feel like this one was something I really wanted to talk about. It may have been the ASMR videos. I do plan on doing videos of star paths in the future, regardless of whether I purchase the premium version of the star path and do the whole thing, or whether I just do the free version of the star path, because sometimes I'll do one and other times I'll really, really love the star path and every single thing in it so much that I'll want to do all of it, the premium version of it. But it'll just depend on the individual star path. I will definitely record those, but those will be ASMR videos only, because a lot of it is just doing the same things over and over again, and basically building up points, just cleaning up the valley and gathering mushrooms and mining for the 10 millionth time and all that kind of stuff, and it gets sort of tedious sometimes. So those are gonna be ASMR videos only. I don't plan on commentating on those videos. Now sometimes I'll get points for star paths while I'm just going about doing regular gameplay, like friendship quests and bringing characters to the realm, and or not realm, bringing characters from realms to the valley and stuff. And so obviously you'll get some bits and pieces of the star paths in my regular videos, and obviously I will comment on them. I won't just completely ignore that it's happened, but for the most part I won't focus on it in a video. unless it's a live stream. That's probably what I was gonna say. So I may very well live stream star paths at times, depending. That's what I was gonna say. Also, I do plan on, like, I plan on mostly focusing on recorded videos, but I do still plan on trying to live stream when my internet allows for it, a couple of times a week, a bare minimum of Saturday mornings, for sure, when I can. We have some family stuff going on right now that will definitely take precedence over everything else. But I will be trying to live stream when my Wi-Fi will let me back here, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and then Saturday mornings, but always Saturday mornings for sure, because that seems to be about the time I can get on really easily with very few problems. So that's what I'm aiming for, and I will definitely be doing things like star paths and whatnot, maybe just grinding for Dreamlight, Storybook Magic, Mist, that kind of stuff on live streams and stuff. So that's kind of my plan, sort of a vague starting off plan for Disney Dreamlight Valley, moving everything back to my main channel. So let's talk specifically about the meadow. Did I mention that it's a straight shot Mickey, Minnie, like the mascot Disney characters, are on that main straight path that head down towards Donald's houseboat? I think I mentioned that somewhere. That was the basis of this build. Then the other thing was, it looked as though Vanellope, or it seemed as though Vanellope was saying that she, way back when we were doing quests with her, it would have been way back originally when I had Disney Dreamlight Valley on this channel, and I was getting so frustrated because it was hard to do the highly edited videos that I was doing and to play Disney Dreamlight Valley. Like, they just don't work well together. So it was really hard to do, and I was getting really frustrated, and my videos were a mess, my game was a mess, it was a whole thing. But anyways, there was a quest that she had us do, and it was, I don't know, some kind of like hide and seek, I think, or something like that. And she gave us a map of the valley, and she showed us that her house was actually in the Peaceful Meadow. And then Merlin told us that he would prefer to be up on the new Plaza Island when we got the floating islands. So between the two, I ended up moving Merlin up there a long time ago, and I thought, okay, well, eventually when I redo the Peaceful Meadow, I'll move Vanellope down here from the Forest of Valor, where I currently have her now, or where I previously had her. Now, I loved where I had Vanellope at, and she was there for so long that initially it was hard for me to wipe all of that out and start fresh and put her in the Peaceful Meadow. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I want Mulan to be up in the Forest of Valor. I think it's the perfect spot for her. I wouldn't really know where else to put her except possibly up in Frosted Heights, but I don't know. Like, I just feel like Mulan belongs in the Forest of Valor for some reason. Maybe it's the name, maybe it's the, like, seasonal representation of the Forest of Valor. I don't know. Maybe you can decipher the inner workings of my brain. I can't. But that's just how I feel. That Mulan should be up in the Forest of Valor. And so I wouldn't really have quite the same space that I used to have Vanellope in up there anymore anyways. So she needed to move regardless. But I'm gonna be honest. Where I have her house, by the time this video is done, you'll see it. And the way I have it set up is not necessarily my most favorite. Number one, the trees have huge hitboxes on them, and they are so incredibly difficult to get around. I want to have them there because I think they look good with her house, and she wanted a bunch of them around her house, so I want to have them there. But also, they are kind of a pain. So there may be things about the meadow that change over time. And we still have a few spots left where we could potentially put smaller builds or other character homes in the future, depending on how big the character homes are. Like, there's a good sized chunk of space where, like, Buzz's house would fit because it's that RV, and so it doesn't have the same huge footprint that most of the bigger houses and castles have. But I don't know. We might just have to do, like, special builds in those areas. I might have to get some, like, premium shop items and do some specialty, unique builds in those areas that have nothing directly to do with the characters in their houses. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. It did take me a long time. I did have to stop a few times to get time bending orbs out of the way, because as you saw earlier in the video, you can't place anything over them. So I had to get rid of a couple of those. I had to keep getting rid of, and it's really weird to me, some of the things that spawn you can move out of your way, and some of the things you can't. I mean, some of them make sense, like the dig holes. Obviously, you can't move those. You'd have to go back into the game and dig those up, and then replace the dirt over top of them to get it to be grass again to place stuff on them. But, like, you can't move the herbs. You can only move the flowers and the wood piles. I don't understand why. It doesn't make sense to me. Other than the dig piles, and the rocks. You can't move the rocks, obviously. Other than the dig piles and the rocks, I feel like everything else should be movable, but it's not. And usually when I'm doing one of these builds, the rocks and the dig spots don't really spawn that much. It's mainly just the flowers and the herbs that spawn a lot. Does anyone else have issues linking up the different biomes together? Like, obviously between the plaza and Dazzle Beach, it's one straight line, so you can put one straight path in there. But the rest of the areas are, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird setup, so it's like you have to make these weird pathways. Maybe that's kind of the point, to have interesting and different pathways. I will say it does make it hard around things like these ponds, though. I struggled for so long with these pathways. I almost gave up. I really truly was at this point right here, I was very frustrated, and mad that I had gotten rid of the paths. I kept thinking I should have left the pathways. I should have left the pathways and just redecorated around them because this is ridiculous. And honestly, for the most part, the pathways ended up basically staying the same anyways. There are a few little spots that are slightly different than the pathways that used to be there, but all in all, they're basically the same. I did widen the area where Mickey and Minnie and Daisy and Goofy are at, just so it didn't feel quite so closed in anymore, but yeah. Otherwise, it's a real pain, let me tell you. And I don't feel like I did a great enough job at the pathways. I'm just not great with the pathways. But you know, in the end, it's a cute little biome, and the pathways work. They're not perfect looking, but they work, and it's a meadow with a gravel pathway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So I figure I'm forgiven on that front. I think at some point I might move the tree that's by Mickey and Minnie's house at the back and the water tower right there slightly back a little bit. Move the tree outside of the fence and back a little bit, and then move the water tower back a little bit as well, because they are clipping with each other, but also the chimneys and the smoke on Mickey and Minnie's house. And I don't know, it just doesn't look the greatest. Although having them close together does look slightly better than having everything spread out. So, like I said, I might I might move them back a little bit in the future. Yeah, other than that, I just kind of can't wait to see. Like, I know some of the characters that are coming up in the near future or have just recently come out will go, like Lumiere and Cogsworth and Beauty and Beast. I feel like the bind was really set up for them. Excuse me. I know Merida said she wanted to be in the bind and she likes it there, but honestly, I feel like one, her house doesn't fit there. It just doesn't fit the color scheme and the vibe. And two, I don't I don't know. To me it doesn't feel like her movie, you know what I mean? It feels like something else. But that's where Merida said she wanted to be, and much of her story revolves around the bind and being in the bind and stuff. So I am going to leave her there. But I really felt that Beauty and the Beast fit in that area really well, and therefore I feel like Cogsworth and Lumiere also fit. I'm curious if they'll get their own house. I have only ever, I think Toy Story was one of those bring two separate characters back from the same realm, was it not? But they each got their own house for some reason, which is weird to me. And their houses don't really feel like they match their characters. So that's kind of weird to me too. But let's see. I guess Joy and Sadness. And again, their house doesn't really feel like what the movie feels like. But how do you represent that, anyways? But those are all like main story characters that have like big main parts in their stories, whereas like Timon and Pumbaa and Lumiere and Cogsworth are like secondary characters, I guess. I don't really How else would you describe that? I would describe them as secondary characters. And so I have yet to bring a secondary character to the valley. The only one I can think of is Olaf, and as far as I can tell, his house is the same as Anna and Kristoff's house, but that was always his house. He just was stuck in the cave for a while at the beginning of the game, you know what I mean? So he didn't come from our realm and really truly have to be unlocked. He was kind of there. He had to be unlocked, but not in the same kind of way, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But yeah, I wonder how that's handled. I have never brought secondary characters like them to the valley before, and I don't know what, if anything, their house is. Maybe they share a house with Beauty or Belle and Beast. By the end of the week that I upload this video, I'll have found out. I'm thinking, because I haven't heard or seen anything about their house on YouTube, amongst the YouTubers who are like mostly or strictly Dreamlight Valley YouTubers, because I haven't seen anything from them about it, I feel like probably they just share the castle with Belle and Beast. So, they're taken care of. They will be taken care of. Why was I saying that? Oh, because I moved them to the bind, and I have that area in the bind. That's all set up. That will not change at all. That side of the bind, I just recently did that. And you can see the live stream of it over on more JSimLady. So that one's not changing, but the other side of the bind on the other side of the bridge is not done. So maybe because it's still technically fall, maybe sometime around Thanksgiving I'll do that one perhaps. That might be a good one to do at that time. Right now I'm just setting up a nice big garden area with some of the plants. I know technically the cherries belong up in the Frosted Heights. That's where they came from. But honestly, I match the colors with the biomes, and the lemons and the coffee beans have the same coloring as the grasses and trees that come from the Peaceful Meadow, so I feel like they belong there. Just like the coloring of the blueberries and raspberries feel more like the Forest of Valor, so I've put them up there. Though I may do a second garden and bring them down to the Peaceful Meadow. I feel like the Peaceful Meadow is a good gardening area, and since I plan on turning the meadow floating island into a garden of sorts, it's going to have all of the crops that we can harvest, not the foraging stuff like the apples and the cocoa beans and the lemons and everything, but stuff that we have to grow and take care of and harvest. That is gonna be what's up there on that floating island. That way I can plant everything in one spot, take care of it all in one spot, and not have it take up anywhere on the main valley. But the foraging trees can't go up there. You can't delete them. You can just move them around. So they have to be somewhere here. So I may well move most, if not all of them, to the Peaceful Meadow into gardens eventually, so they're all in one place. That's an idea as well. That you could give me some feedback. See that long strip along the side there, along the edge of the Peaceful Meadow? I don't think, like, the only house that I know of that might fit there is Buzz's RV. So any houses that I put over there would have to be really small and narrow houses. So I could use that as another garden space and put all of the foraging trees and bushes down in the Peaceful Meadow. That is a possible addition for the future. We'll have to wait and see. I haven't fully decided yet. Maybe we'll play around with it on live stream sometime, see how well we like it. And if we really, really like it, then I will leave it that way. And yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll play around with it on live stream sometime and see how well we like it and how good it looks to have all of the trees and shrubs and stuff that are forageable items down there along that side. That would save me from trying to find character houses that would fit in that spot. We do eventually get to Vanellope here. Sort of. Yeah, not sort of. We do eventually get to Vanellope, period. After we finish the ponds. My brain got really confused there for a second, but basically I was gonna say, when I cleared everything out to redecorate everything as part of this sort of new but not new series, I only cleaned out ponds but not rivers. Ponds are easy. Ponds are small. Rivers are long and mostly winding, and they would not be easy to get to look good for my skills. I might add little touches to the rivers here and there, but for the most part, the rivers stay the same. The other areas that generally stay the same are the bigger water areas, like down in the Glade of Trust, that big water area with the ruins in it. That I didn't touch either for the most part. I just did the little ponds throughout all the different biomes and DLC biomes as well, because they're easier. They're so much easier to make look good and not mess up that I wasn't afraid to take everything out of them and do it my own way. Whereas the rivers, I feel like, are a little bit harder and would be a lot easier to mess up and make not look as good. The other thing I thought the meadow was good for was lots of park sitting, eating areas, so I put several of those in there as well. Right here I am working on a little sitting area park that's kind of in between the garden and the pond, so the characters have somewhere to sit and relax and chat with each other and hang out. You know, something else that I'm noticing about this as I'm watching it through is that I might not have put enough lamp posts around. I'm thinking I didn't maybe put enough lamp posts around. Although honestly, in the meadow, we really don't need that many. And nighttime never seems to get really super dark. And since the meadow is more of a park slash garden area, maybe it's not necessary. What do you think? Do you think we should add more lampposts? Okay, we are finally on to Vanellope's area, and I don't hate the concept that I was going for the most part. I don't like the trees. They just take up so much room, and this area is not super big. So this might eventually change as well, just to lessen the amount of trees. Maybe move Vanellope's house forward, in that little square area, or rectangle area actually, and then put the trees mainly behind her house so they're not in the way. You know what I mean? Here I'm just making more candies, so that I can make a more path, because this area is, well, the area is not bigger, but the pathway that I'm making is bigger than where I used to have her house in the Forest of Valor. So I needed to make a bunch more candy in order to get the amount of pathway needed. It takes a lot of candy to make those pathways, so yeah, I had to go for a while. I will be honest with you, I had no idea how many candies I would need or how many pathway pieces I would need, so I was just kind of guessing. And I was really worried I'd have to go back and do that all again so that I could finish the pathway. Fortunately, I didn't need to. I ended up with more than enough to do the pathway that I wanted. It's supposed to look like a racetrack. And eventually here, when we get Vanellope's car, we can put it on that pathway and it looks like a racetrack that she can race around on. See how far back I have her house set? That's because I wanted her pathway leading to her house to be lined with the trees. Excuse me, my goodness. Be lined on either side like that with the trees. But after playing the game, I've had this done for maybe a week now, and after playing the game several times with it done like this for a week, I hate it. So what we might do in the future is move the house forward quite a bit and only put the trees behind the house. I think that'll help a lot, especially with getting around on the pathways, because even though you can only put the trees in certain areas, and as is they have a huge hitbox thing, they still stick out over their hitboxes, and it's hard walking around that pathway. Even though the pathway is, what, 3 wide, I think, it's still hard walking around that pathway because you run into the ends of the trees all over the place. Really, the only place you can walk is right straight down the center part of the pathway, which really is truly annoying with these trees. So I may very well, like I said, do what I said. Maybe during a live stream or something, I'll do that. That'll give people incentives to start watching my live streams again. But yeah, I mean, we're getting very close to the end here. In fact, only a few more minutes and we'll be at the end of the speed build part, and then we can do a little bit of a walkthrough quickly of the Peaceful Meadow so you can see it as it is in its current state. The only thing I've changed really is I had to move a couple of the trees and fix that corner there that for some reason didn't do the angled thing, and put a couple more pieces of grass here and there. That was it. But we are at pretty much at the end of the speed build here, so we'll get into the walkthrough now. Okay, so everything's gonna be a bit of a mess, but this is the plaza as it stands and as it's staying. We still have some fall, autumn decorations out until December. There's, again, some pieces that need to be fixed. This is gonna be a little alleyway to the multiplayer thing here. If you ever want to visit my valley or have me come visit your valley, let me know in the comments. This needs a pathway here, and Mike and Sully need a pathway and some decorations there. All things we will take care of in the future, as well as fixing up Remy's space out here with some tables and chairs for outdoor dining. We've got Tiana's Palace over here, which, you know, honestly, it's so big and takes up so much space here. I might actually end up moving that to the Glade of Trust eventually. I'm not 100% sure, and it kind of depends on future characters and if any other city type of buildings will fit there. But that's kind of the plaza as it stands right now, and so here is the meadow. Actually, let's go to the meadow from the main path. This is kind of a side path here. This, hi Remy, this is the main path, and as you can see, you come straight down from the plaza, from the castle, and you've got Daisy and Minnie and Goofy and Mickey, and then you have Donald right there down in Dazzle Beach. So I really love this setup, and I don't have any plans to ever change the way this area is set up. But then if we go over here, we have a little picnic area next to a farmer's market area here. And then we have some space here to add stuff in the future. Around the corner is Vanellope's house, and see how that kind of hangs over the pathway and you can't get through? I guess it's 4 tiles wide, so you can really only walk down the 2 middle tiles because those hooks are, yeah, right there. It's kind of annoying. I don't know. Maybe I won't need to walk back here very often, and maybe I should leave it. Maybe I just need to get used to it. You let me know what you think of Vanellope's area. We can go in and take a quick peek in her house because I've never done that before. I don't know, but this is the inside of Vanellope's house. Hey, Vanellope. There we go. And then we can head around here. There's a little pathway to the Glade of Trust. There's an empty space here for future decorative items that might be added in star paths or whatever. Another little picnic area right here next to the well, which I put some, I believe these are magnolia blossoms around. I just thought that was so cute. Then if we pass by this giant rock, we have the garden here, the lemon and cherry trees, the coffee bean shrubs, and then one of Wally's mini gardens that he has throughout the entire game if you have the DLC. If you don't, the DLC comes with Wally's Gardens, as well as some other buildings and stuff that you can place in other places, like in Storybook Vale and stuff. Here's that little park area right here for sitting in and chatting, and this is the very narrow area that I was talking about that we could only use for very small houses. So maybe what I'll do is make another space like this with the trellises over here and put all the other forageable trees and shrubs in this area. That might be a good idea, actually. But then we come back around. We've got a nice little spot for Merlin to snooze. Sorry, Merlin, didn't mean to wake you up. We've got another little area here that we can decorate with future stuff, and we are back at the beginning. So, yeah, there you have it. There is my peaceful meadow and my plaza a little bit as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. So many more like it. And questing videos, adventure videos in Disney Dreamlight Valley are coming up very soon. And once I get into Disney Dreamlight Valley and have it introduced fully back onto this channel, it will be going into regular rotation with the rest of my games. So look forward to that. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.